Hello and welcome to Hold My Popcorn, where we make fun of the good movies and trash the bad ones. I'm Max Healy in Nashville. And over in Boston, we got Timmy Ginn. How are you, Timmy?
Doing good, Max. The Red Sox are back playing, which is good and bad. Mainly because the Red Sox are bad. However, watching baseball and live sports is good, so that's good. How are you guys?
Doing pretty good.
Well, that's good. Everything's good.
Bill and I aren't talking to you, Tim.
That's fine. Sounds good to me.
I'm actually not talking to. I'm not talking to anyone. I'm not really sure what I'm doing here tonight, but I'm not going to talk to anyone on this podcast.
Bill is going to breathe heavily and bristle through the microphone.
Exactly.
Which is what Bill's done for this entire Indiana Jones series thus far. He's been with us. He just hasn't said a single word.
Yeah. I've been present for every podcast.
Over in Sacktown, California, we do have John Anushak. How are you, sir?
You know, Max, I'm not mad. I'm disappointed, deeply disappointed. And I hope that Spielberg and Lucas hear that and it hurts them in some way, which I know it won't. But that's where I'm at right now, my man. How are you?
I'm good. All right. Making another guest appearance on the show over in Portland, Maine is our resident squib, Bill Dooley. How are you, Billy boy?
Piece of shit. I knew, I had a thought today. You know what? He's probably going to introduce me as a squib today. I mean, at least you didn't call me a squealing squib or something like that, but I'm still, we're not doing Harry Potter. So cool. Real cool.
That's when Bill slammed on his brakes right on the highway. That's when he thought of that. Son of a bitch!
My favorite was you squibby fuck. That was my favorite.
Hey, squibby fuck.
Good times. I'm doing well. Thanks, Max.
Fantastic. All right. With all that said, we're wrapping up our Indiana Jones movie marathon this week as we watched 2008's sloppy sequel, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Directed. Yeah. Nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
All the bad things. Dead puppies.
Yep. Directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Harrison Ford, Cate Blanchett, Karen Allen, Ray Winstone, John Hurt, and the star of Even Stevens, Shia LaBeouf.
Ugh.
Why are they doing this? They're just taking Indiana Jones and they're raping him! I can't watch! Let's get out of here, Kyle! Why would Spielberg and Lucas do this? Come on, let's go! Why are they doing this?
So,
yeah, rape was involved. It was, nobody liked it. It was not consensual, this movie.
is it fair to say that 2 out of the 4 Indiana Jones movies are very racist?
Or just suck?
Yeah.
Well, no. Obviously 2 out of the 4 Indiana Jones movies just suck. But this movie, maybe more subtly than Temple of Doom, was quite racist. Because the entire, conspiracy theory about how, the Mayans and the Incans actually, they were visited by aliens and that's how they built all this stuff is quite racist. Because it was just propagated by, old white people who are like, these crazy brown people don't know how to build stuff. Must have been aliens.
Well,
I have to agree with you there. There's definitely they got some hate in their hearts when they're making these movies. I agree with you.
I guess all I'm saying is that George Lucas seems to take very racist tacks in his in some of his movies.
Tim, I thought you were just going to say it was a racist because Indiana Jones is calling all these indigenous Peru people Indians. They're in fucking South America.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's pretty bad too. I didn't even think of that.
Stop
but that's
calling them
bad.
Indians, Indy. What are you doing?
Right. Just because you named yourself Indiana doesn't mean you get to say the word. So, yeah.
I mean, if The Last Crusade is a direct sequel to Raiders, then The Crystal Skull is a direct sequel to Temple of Doom.
Indeed.
I also just like that on our Raiders episode, I pitched my Indiana Jones 5 idea that involved Indy raiding that warehouse from the first movie or fighting Nazis in the Amazon jungle, just totally forgetting that he's in the warehouse and the Amazon jungle in this movie. I was within the first 20 minutes, I'm like, fuck. Maybe that's why I thought that was a good idea.
But then you realized it was in the Crystal Skull, so you soon realized that they weren't good ideas.
Terrible
they were bad
idea.
ideas.
Awful ideas.
Do we want to compare them to other movies like after we're done with this, or can we do it in the beginning? Well, what do you want?
You can do
Let's
it right now.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If I'm being honest with you guys, I'm going to come in with a hot take right now. This movie is better than the second movie. Like, if you get over the fact that this was, 20 years later or whatever, 30 years later than the other movies, it was clearly just a cash grab and completely unnecessary. Like, if you just look at the story and the characters, this is a way better movie than the second movie. The second movie's
Bill,
trash.
I'm gonna wholeheartedly agree with Bill here.
Yeah.
Dude, but the thing is, okay, I have to watch this fucking terrible movie. Whatever. It's fine. It's still like has some action sequences in it, blah, 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 blah. I wasn't dreading it. I was dreading the Temple of Doom. And at the end of it, I hated it more. Like, I hated that movie more than I thought I could.
Yeah, that is the one thing, is that this movie, I was expecting it to be worse than it actually was. And I was expecting Temple of Doom to be a little bit better than I remembered. And I was wrong. So,
yeah.
Well, so I think it does come down to like simple characters, and CGI had no bearing on this because I actually hated every aspect of CGI.
CG was bad.
Yeah.
No, it's horrible. But like, yeah, as Bill said, I mean, as far as the story goes and just sheer characters, even though some of those characters kind of suck and are shittily acted, but I'm okay with that. It definitely is objectively, I would say, if you just looked at the bones, like if you didn't even look at the movie, watch the movie, and you looked at like the scripts, I would imagine that it would probably come out in that way.
Listen, if you were to take this movie and make the aliens not aliens and just make them like Incans, right? So take the alien craziness out of it, and then take Shia LaBeouf in the first scene behind a dumpster and shoot him in the head, then
Drown him in a puddle.
This movie would be great. This movie would be very good.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, you see Shia LaBeouf's face in the first 15 minutes, which is never a good thing. And there's aliens in the Indiana Jones movie. So, I mean, those are the two real bad parts about this movie.
It's very enjoyable, though, at least to speak about this, because it's one of these few movies where we can immediately lead off and just be like, well, the ending is there's fucking aliens, everybody. Like, that's how much we hate it and the world hates it. And that's a lot of fun. I like it.
Yeah, this movie was the second highest grossing movie of 2008. So I think a lot of people saw this. So we can spoil it right away.
Yeah.
I mean, we spoil everything anyway.
It's true.
Should we get into it?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Movie opens up in 1957 Nevada with a car full of these stupid, reckless baby boomers challenging a bunch of military transports to a race.
I do not know how those two very brave women in the back were sitting on that. They're elevated like a good 5 feet above the two boys in the front driving. And any bump, a bird, anything hits them just right, they're falling off of that, going like 95 miles an hour.
They swerve out of the way of like oncoming traffic at one point.
Oh my God.
Everyone except for maybe best case scenario, the driver is dead. I mean, those two girls flying out of that car going 90 miles an hour and just skidding across the desert for a mile and a half. I mean, they have no
That's a Rob Zombie
skin.
clip right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they cut to the gophers with their mouths open, just in total shock and horror.
That was actually
watch his tag body fall down the street.
My first note on this was that the very opening scene, like the very first thing you see, is just a horrible, terrible CGI. Groundhog or prairie dog or something like wow, that really sets the tone for how a lot of this movie goes. Just unnecessary CGI.
Fucking George Lucas needs to keep his non-existent chin out of all of this shit. Like, keep him a fucking producer and just keep him in the background going, I don't like it. Fuck off, Lucas. I want a virgin child. God damn it. Like, if they just kept him out of it, I think it would have been probably a solid like 5 points higher in like a score if you were just going to quantify this out of 100 scale.
I loved it. I love a good virtual reality or CGI or whatever the fuck they call it.
What about the gophers who lost their acting jobs to fucking George Lucas's bullshit CGI?
Listen, John, unionism is communism, and I'm not going to have a fucking gopher labor union dictating to me who can be in my movies. All right?
Hey,
all right.
I'm just saying, if you saw a hole, we dug it, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so these Soviets dressed in U.S. uniforms shoot their way into this army base and pull two guys out of the trunk of the car that turn out to be Ray Winstone as George Mac McHale and our old buddy, geriatric Indiana Jones.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of the shakes to this one. You can see it. Like,
Yeah, he's looking a little rough.
Yeah, he kind of looked like Indiana Jones that maybe like he had a little PTSD, you know? So he's been like living in a bar for the last 20 years.
I think it would have been funny if it was just like they made this movie take place in 1939 and it's just he drank from the wrong cup. He's like, it's slowly dying. So when they filmed the first movie, Ford was 38 years old, and in this, he was 65.
Jesus
Christ.
So 30-year difference in the story. They're supposed to be, 20 years, I guess.
It's a 20-year difference.
All right.
That does add up because
That's
the
not
last
that
one was
bad.
1937.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing that's funny is that in the last movie, Sean Connery was 58.
Sean Connery. Hold on.
all right.
I have to have
Hold
some.
on.
Sean Connery was 58.
He was 50. I had to I looked at that like 3 or 4 different times. I'm like, there's
Sean
no way
Connery
he was
looked
58
like he
years
was
old.
85.
Yes. I could not believe that.
I guess this just happens when all you do is like slap women and drink scotch.
Yeah.
All right. Then you're introduced to the main villain, Dr. Spelko, played by Cate Blanchett, who forces Indy to find this highly magnetic box inside the warehouse from the first movie, which turns out to be the alien from Area 54. Also, Mac, the good guy you just met 3 minutes ago, is working for the Soviets.
Bam, bam, bam.
So-
Fucking commie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Max already, he's a cunt, number one. And then Kate, I usually love my girl Kate, but in this, dude, like
Not good.
the only way I can describe her accent in my ears is like getting Crystal Skull fucked. It was just horrific. It was
Her British
so
accent
bad.
was slipping in and out, too.
It did, especially in this scene when she gets out of the car. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Yeah,
whoa,
it was noticeable.
What the fuck are you doing?
I just want to know why this warehouse it's fucking full of aliens and weapons that are made from God, and they just had 2 guards protecting it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
That's and like
Yeah.
on a day too when they're apparently running a nuclear bomb test like just down the road.
Yeah.
I mean, probably
fuck?
maybe could have been a few extra people at that base, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Also, wouldn't all that shit be underground too? You'd think maybe like we figured out by that year, how to dig really good, holes, hadn't we? At that point, like we could make
Well,
caves.
they had this. I mean, they had those towns in Nevada were real. Like they had real nuclear test towns.
Oh yeah, no. I'm talking about the super secret, like shed that's got all of God's shit in
Yeah.
it, that
Yeah,
no
it's
one
in a
should
plane
ever
carrier.
find. Exactly. It's in an aluminum. Let's get this straight. An aluminum structure.
Yeah.
You could throw a baseball through an aluminum structure. Well, you could probably put it into a pitching machine and do it. It's so.
Said by a fucking bleeding heart liberal. You want to pay the taxes that could have put that stuff underground, John? I don't. Damn it.
I mean, it's a really minor thing, but can I also just comment on the fact that the magnetism of the box is wildly inconsistent. Just
Yep.
He has to like throw the stuff right at it at first, and then like 30 seconds later, it's pulling on the lights on the ceiling of the building that's like 50 feet up in the air. What the fuck? It's somehow it's pulling on those lights with the same amount of strength that it's pulling on like the guns that are 3 feet away from it.
Yeah, and also same thing. I mean, you if something gets stuck to it, it's super easy to take it back off. Like something that strong would be stuck to it forever.
Right.
They
Like when
put it
Sword
in
gets
a
it?
metal car.
Oh God, I didn't even
How did
think
they-
about that.
How did they get it
Jeez.
out of the car? Like, I don't understand. You know what I mean?
I guess
Yeah.
there's a reason that they had fucking Gonzo there, the 10-foot tall Russian colonel guy, the entire time. 'Cause he was so
Putin.
strong. I don't know. That's a great point.
That guy, okay, that's another thing I had a problem with. They were trying to make this fucking, like, really, like, kind of scrawny Russian dude look tough. Come on, get Ivan Drago. Where the fuck is Ivan Drago? He should have been that fucking Russian
Drago.
colonel.
That would
You
have
know
been
what I
great.
mean?
That would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine that scene though, where he walks up on Indy. I would break you.
Well, he would break Indy. I mean, let's just be realistic about it.
Well, that's the
piece
biggest
of
thing,
butter.
too. I mean, like, you got all these Soviets. They're crafty enough to locate and sneak onto the secret base, but they can't kill a 65-year-old Indiana Jones who's just, like, slowly running away without any major injuries at all.
My favorite thing is that just how slow he was doing his own stunts. You could tell that, like,
Yeah.
so when he got
He did
away,
a lot of
right?
them.
When he got away, and then after they put the box onto the truck, he got away, and then he ran down this like alley or this little aisle between the boxes, and then he like had to like climb up on the boxes,
It's so
and then
bad.
the guys were right behind him, turned, waited 30 seconds for him to get to the top box, then started shooting at him.
I know.
I was like, oh no, he just would have been dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, remember, guys, the magnetic fields are throwing off the trajectory of the bullets.
Oh,
So
that's what it is.
Well, actually, that could explain it. That would be a good explanation to it. Good point.
Yep.
Because otherwise
Yeah, it
they had him at like point blank range for like 30
Yep.
seconds.
I tell you what doesn't make sense, though, is Max surviving that head-on collision.
Yeah. I'm glad
He
I'm
just
not
walks
the
out
only one.
totally fine.
They were going like 30, 40 miles an hour head-on collision in cars, you know, from the 1950s that were just solid blocks of steel. Absolutely no crumple, no airbags, no seatbelts. He is dead. He is as dead
Yep.
as the girl in the back of the seat, in the back seat from the original. Like, I mean, just like head on through the windshield, going another like 50 or 60 feet, just skidding on his face, knocking out all of his teeth. Mac is dead.
That would have been the lethal weapon scene. Great.
Well, it's really tough to swallow, especially considering like, you know, what happens next that somebody fucking survives. It's absurd. And they immediately take it to that level this early in the movie.
So right before that happens, too, another thing is just super weird is that you have Indiana Jones looking like really out of place inside that brightly painted Leave It to Beaver house that turns out to be part of the nuclear testing town. That just it really kind of bugged me. Just seeing him with his with his whip and hat, and then it's just like this light blue wallpaper in the background.
It's all odd. Everything's
It was weird.
odd. I think that they borrowed all of their sets and CGI animations from Geico. I think that they got it real cheap, and that's probably holy shit. This is a conspiracy.
So this isn't really a comment on the movie. It's more of a comment on why did the government have to build a town, like a fake town, to set off a nuclear blast in the middle of the town to know that it was going to destroy the town? I mean, I feel like the order of magnitude there, it's like, it's just, yeah, of course you know it's going to destroy the town.
Right.
Well, it's so we can see how good we're killing people.
Well, I mean, I get that.
Look at that house.
And I mean, so there's a lot of issues I have there. I mean, why do they need to have like Ajax and bleach and stuff like that? Like, it's a fully stocked pantry. It's not just like
I know.
it's not like it's just like a house with
That
mannequins.
was weird.
There's real products in there. And then
Well, see,
Again, the
keep going,
wallpaper.
sorry.
yeah, well, I was just
Someone spent the time to put wallpaper and paint the house just so
Yes.
they could fucking literally nuclear explode it.
well, and a super weird thing is that like he makes a point. He goes in the first house and he tries to drink water from the sink, and oh, what's this? There's no plumbing. There's no water coming from there. Like, okay, like good. They didn't put plumbing in. Next, 10 seconds later, you see a house where a guy has a hose. One of the mannequins has a hose running, and another one with a sprinkler running. So there is plumbing. There's plumbing in this town that they blow up. There are pipes underground with water. Why would you do that?
This is so not any other country, but there are many more countries that I would trust to be so methodical and detail oriented where they would set all of this shit up to study every aspect of what a nuclear explosion at X distance will do to a town, plumbing, fucking does it make your bleach turn into, I don't know, it doesn't matter. But any other country besides the US, we are not competent enough to build that kind of shit, that level of detail, and then study it. Because that's the only reason they did it. But we suck. We don't do that.
We just tested it out on people from Japan.
Yeah,
Instead.
it's just, no.
Yeah, I guess it works. All right. Well, speaking of all this nuclear shit, Indiana then escapes a nuclear explosion by hiding inside of a lead refrigerator.
So many problems with this. Why are there lead refrigerators? Who thought that was a good idea? Why is there a bunch of lead in the refrigerator? Anyways.
They used to put it in the water.
Jeez, they added the freaking wallpaper.
Pipes. Yeah,
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 or the
everywhere.
paint, I guess, yeah.
Paint, lead chips. Yeah.
They didn't actively put it in the water though. They just like
No, it was the
made
pipes.
pipes out
Yeah.
of lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't like, oh, you know what this water could use? A little lead.
Yeah, that's not leady enough.
Yeah.
You know what I can't taste?
Yeah, it's
Lead.
the two big whoops that nobody ever talks about. Yeah, the asbestos and everything's lined with lead that our water touches. Whoops, sorry. Whoops.
Yeah. My other note here is that Indy's getting old because he's talking to himself way too much.
Oh, God.
He's just having a full-blown conversation out loud when he's in that kitchen. I gotta find something. Oh, geez, where should I go? Oh, that's not good. It's like, who fucking says who does that?
That is a lonely old man. That's what that is a very lonely, heavily drinking old man.
He's been through too much. He's seen too many things.
And he looks like he has a hangover from scene 1, so.
My Indian housekeeper's hiding my pills.
All right, and then the janitor from Scrubs interrogates Indiana Jones and accuses him of being a commie spy.
Which I mean, if the shoe fits.
Right.
Am I right?
Right.
You don't get mixed up with the Ruskies unless you're a little bit of a commie.
I mean, I still don't really understand. Like, they never held a gun to anyone's head or anything when they were in the warehouse. They were just like, you will show us where it is. And he's just like, oh, okay, I guess I will.
Yeah.
I like,
Well, Bill, it's the implication.
oh, all right, I get it. Like going out on a boat out in the ocean.
Yeah, just like that. It's
Just like the implication. All right.
It's the implication.
I would have. Why didn't like he should have tried to find the Ark of the Covenant? They showed it briefly at one point, but like he should have just been like, all right, here
Yeah,
you
they
go.
damaged it.
Yeah, here's that box you were looking for, and then they open up the Ark of the Covenant, and everyone dies. Problem solved.
Well, you had to do the ritual first, and you had to wear all that sweet garb. You would have to file through some more boxes there too, since like I melted.
Also, think about all the fucking shit, but think about all the other shit that's probably in there.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's not magnetic, harder to find.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even better than that is later we found out like there really was they didn't need that alien. They apparently had aliens from crash sites of their own in Russia, and she like basically just looked at it and be like, oh yeah, that looks like the aliens we have, and then she didn't do anything else. That alien they took from that warehouse had absolutely no bearing on the movie whatsoever.
That's true.
Good point.
Yeah, the whole first act is nothing.
All of that trouble.
She brings it to the rainforest to like open it up when she has Indy and like covers it back up, and clearly like that's the end of it. I'm pretty sure they just throw it in the Amazon at that point.
Well,
Now I'm kind of wishing that this was a Rob Zombie film, because all of the kids driving the car super fast and stupidly would have just been roadkill by now. The Russians would have violently killed everybody in Indy, and they would have gotten the aliens, and it would have been over. And you know what? It would have been a short film, and we would have all been able to just go home
And
not have to watch this shit.
if Indy had somehow escaped from the Russians and ended up in that nuclear blast, and like the lead line fridge did somehow protect him, the amount of radiation he took when he was standing out looking out at the mushroom cloud, like he would have been like the firefighters from Chernobyl within like a day.
he was fucking, that's why I was like, why are you walking towards the explosion?
Yeah, it's so... Well, he would at least be blind, but I think... What do you think it's the pimp juice from the Holy Grail?
I think it is.
Do you think that... Are they really
It's gotta
just
be.
like leaning on
Jesus
every
juice.
single thing? Yeah.
Too bad he didn't say that, though. I mean, that would have been a nice little line just for all the stupid audience people, with him being like, good thing I got this flask with some of that Jesus juice.
Wait, but isn't he supposed to be immortal? Isn't he supposed to be immortal?
No, you have to keep drinking it.
Yeah.
I think it...
You have to
it
stay
belongs,
there.
But
No, you have to, and it also, I think it only works inside that temple,
I-
as we talked about last week.
I think
I disagree with you, Max, but I'm not going to get into that argument.
Yeah, no, I
Okay, that's
think it was just like you'll have a longer lifespan, but you won't live forever.
No, because those other two guys died.
Yeah.
Hence, he was in his coffin in that last one. Let's just talk about the third movie. That one's much better.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, really. So here's the thing. If they would have gone back to visit their brother and they would have taken some sips, from Jesus's pimp cup, they would have been able to keep it going,
I guess
I
that's
think
the thing then, because you can't bring the cup out of the building.
Yeah. You got to drink from the cup,
Hmm.
You got to keep drinking from it.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay, moving on. After this interrogation, Professor Slughorn interrupts Indy's class because Indiana Jones has never completed an entire class without being interrupted by a life-changing event, as he's told he's going to be put on paid leave due to the FBI probing.
Yeah, probing or aliens.
Yep.
College is in the 50s. You don't get fired for getting probed by the FBI. Colleges hated the FBI back then.
Yeah, he would have gotten a promotion. He would have become dean of the college at that point.
Right, exactly.
When was
the only thing they hate
McCarthyism?
more are fucking commies. Yeah.
When
this
was
is a Red
McCarthy?
Scare.
This was so this was in the heat of it. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
But
Okay.
like colleges were like the bastion of like hating that whole movement.
Right, exactly. Colleges where all the commies came from.
Right.
True.
And still do. Goddamn blue collar job. That's what you need. Go be a plumber.
Oh, Tim, I hate to break it to you, but I'm pink down to my underwear.
What? What does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
Somebody will know. There was a politician that was talking about it, about pinkos, where the term pinkos came from.
Oh, so he was just saying some offensive,
He was like, bruh, they're
homophobic
pink down
shit.
to their underwear. Bruh, pinkos, pinko commies, bruh. And then pinkos.
Locker
was a
room
thing,
talk,
so it's
guys.
another word.
That's all it was.
Yeah, and then there's just a parentheses and subtitles that says "I hate gay people." Is he saying that?
Basically, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
Ugh.
I'm sure. I'll have to text my buddy and ask which politician that was. I'm sure he's dead, but we can at least drag him through the street for it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Woo-hoo.
Then you're introduced to the super cool motorcycle greaser Mutt Williams, played by Shia LaBeouf.
Woo! I'm just trying to think about all the other people that would have been better in this role than Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
I spent about like 15 minutes today just Googling like popular young actors 2008 just to see like who else they could have cast in this.
Right.
Number one, Patrick Swayze.
There we go. The Sways.
Swayze.
He can do anything.
But like the kid from Spider-Man, what's his name? McGuire?
Toby McGuire? Toby McGuire
No.
John, what are you talking about?
You have no.
Toby
You have to-
Maguire?
You have to. Was it Toby? The guy from Spider-Man, right?
Yes.
Yes.
No, you're correct.
Oh,
you
have to understand how much I dislike Shia LaBeouf. You really have to understand to what everything is above him. Everything, Tim.
Okay.
Everything.
Toby Maguire.
I'd take it.
So wait,
I've seen some great pictures of him on the internet, frozen framed, of him looking like he's taking a ship, but he's actually just Spider-Man saving a train. But it looks great.
Oh yeah, I love that gif. It's a great.
It's amazing.
are there
Maybe that's seeped
are
in.
there any other contributions other than Toby Maguire?
Frankie
Bill-
Muniz.
Oh, no. Oh my God. No.
No, of course not. That wouldn't have. He's like fucking 4 feet tall.
Okay, we just need to move on because I'm fairly disgusted right now.
Now I'm on IMDb
Really?
just looking up teen idols from the 2000s, and your cousin's on here, Tim.
Who? Oh,
Julia
Julia
Stiles.
Stiles. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, they could have done. I mean, no, that would have been bad too. I guess they just didn't really have any good mid 2000s child actors. Like, I would say just really, I guess anybody from the Hunger Games, right? Is that what you would have to just go with?
I mean, I guess. I don't know.
I don't fucking know.
I mean,
Who cares? That was 12 years ago.
Holes was a good movie. I enjoyed the movie Holes.
Well, so look, because of this movie, and he was doing the Transformers movies back
Oh,
then.
that's
So
right.
he was like the number 4 highest box office actor of 2008, just because of Transformers in this movie.
He was actually kind of good in Transformers. The first Transformers isn't terrible, and he's pretty good in it.
He's fine. I mean, he's Shia LaBeouf is not bad. Like, I've heard that he's actually really good in this new movie where he plays his own dad in it. It's called Honey Boy. I've heard it's really good, but it's just don't have a kid in this. Like, you couldn't bring back fucking Short Round.
Yeah,
Have him be in it
exactly.
instead.
That short round. What was it? Ping pong?
Yeah,
Was that the name,
Yeah,
Tim?
ping pong.
Ping pong. Yeah, it's ping pong.
Tim, are you legitimately mad at me right now?
What's that?
A little bit.
Yeah, I'm,
said, are you
I'm,
legitimately
I'm buying. I'm buying plane tickets. I'm buying plane tickets to come out and beat the shit out of you.
Fucking Toby Maguire. Oh boy.
Don't you fucking oh boy me.
John, this is a thing you just haven't realized since you've been on the shows. Typically, from April to October, when we do these podcasts, Tim just doesn't really pay attention during the show because he's watching the Red Sox.
Oh, fair enough.
We're just a little delayed this year.
Listen, Max, this is not true.
Ooh, trade secrets.
All right. So they're at this Norman Rockwell diner, and Mutt says that Indy's old friend Ox is in the Amazon jungle searching for the crystal skull because anyone who returns it to the secret lost city will become super powerful. And
It's
then
so stupid. It's just so stupid. Like, who cares? Like, why can't it be something like so the other movies, it was like, okay, at least we're going to go get a magic rock. We're going to go get the Holy Grail. We're going to get the Ark of the Covenant. Here, you're going to bring back this sketchy ass crystal skull that's going to be marketed for vodka purposes later by Dan Aykroyd and return it to a place and you're going to get powerful. What?
I like how the bad guys haven't figured out that there's always a catch to these like trinkets that they're trying to capture for like ultimate supremacy. Like it never works out in their favor. They always get butt fucked. You know what I mean?
That's why I wonder, because, like later on when Indy's talking to Ox, he's like, it's me. It's your friend Indy, Henry Jones. Like, I wonder if like he was trying to hide the fact that he was Indiana Jones because every single person that goes up against him like gets evaporated by whatever thing they were chasing.
Yeah, they're all just like, Indiana Jones, get the fuck out!
Fuck! Run! Get something else!
This man's father's a walking anti-aircraft gun. You fucking shaves with a blowtorch. Yeah, oh my God.
Yeah, so then these Ruskies show up and Mutt does his best Marty McFly impression by starting a fight, running out of the diner, jumping on his skateboard, and they get into this big chase scene that ends with Mutt and Indy inside the library on a motorcycle.
I
enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought that was honestly like a pretty fun scene. Like fairly well done.
It wasn't bad.
He gets pulled into the car off the motorcycle and just starts punching everyone. Like it's ridiculous, but it's funny. He gets back on the motorcycle. They go into the library and like they slide under 50 tables, and then he answers a kid's question about the like a book that he's reading. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious, to be honest.
Certainly teaches those nerds a lesson about studying.
You gotta get out of the library.
Yeah. Get on a motorcycle.
But the girl who punches LaBeouf is the daughter of Steven Spielberg and Kate Capshaw.
Oh.
Yeah, little fun fact there.
I can't remember. Was she attractive or not?
She was Yabos from the second movie.
What?
Wait. Oh, Kate Capshaw.
No. That's not what I'm talking about, Max. I'm talking about the daughter.
The girl that I don't know. I didn't really.
You're talking about Joe College's girlfriend in that scene?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whoa.
I'll find out. We're gonna do an amendment to this podcast.
Tim is going to go do some research.
Tim breaks down this woman's look in a 25-point review. Thus perpetuating
take my pants off and start this research.
Just perpetuating the male hegemony.
Well, I got to say that you all definitely apparently understand the Yabos a lot more. I've been drugged through the streets on social media over my opinion of Yabos, so
it's true.
Yeah.
People are like, Sharon Stone does not have good Yabos. I don't know what the fuck John's talking about.
I'm a fucking special, unique snowflake. Okay. I like what I like and I respect people.
Not a good analogy series for John here. Yabos, and then Toby McGuire. I mean, I don't know.
There we go. I can't wait to see what happens there. Shia LaBeouf's way better. Like, he's probably going to pick up on it, for fuck's sake. He's going to show up at my doorstep.
You know what? That would be a good Twitter poll to put on. Who would be better in this movie? Indiana Jones or Shia LaBeouf?
I would
Shia LaBeouf or
Andy
Toby
Rooney
McGuire.
in this movie.
I would love.
The guy from 60 Minutes, Andy Rooney.
Yeah.
We are putting that poll out because I want to do it just so that way I can strut my shit across this fucking screen. I will do a hula hoop dance and post it on social media if I win that fucking poll.
All right, cool. Let's do that. All right. A little bit later, the boys head to this haunted house in Peru where they're attacked by squirrely parkour people who wear skulls over their face.
Yeah.
As is tradition.
Who also,
As
of course,
typical Indians do.
Yes, and since they're natives, they don't actually speak a language. They just make grunts and stuff because, of course, this is a Spielberg movie.
And are they on like PCP or something? Because like one of them gets absolutely demolished in the face with a shovel, and he just like bares his teeth and screeches at Indy, and then like jumps into a hole. Like, that's a really
Country strong, dude.
really weird scene.
Country strong. You should know about that. You live in Maine now. You're country strong, technically.
No, I'm not. I'm not actually from Maine. It's going to take 2 or 3 generations.
I said you live in Maine now.
Yeah.
Oh, you need generations. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm from away permanently. That's what they call people that don't live in Maine, is people from away. And I will always be from away.
Well, can you at least like work up the calluses on your hands then? So I think that'll gain you some respect.
Well, what doesn't help my chances here is that I'm like white collar office worker. So even worse, I'd have to get like a lobster boat and a potato farm and manage both of them 24/7. And maybe they'd allow me to like into the local bar.
You just need to keep a jar of dirt with you wherever you go, Bill, and just throw it on your face before you walk in to any building. Hi, I'm Bill. I'm here. Just looking like Alan Grant from Jurassic Park. Just like caked in dirt. Just a typical Maine person doing Maine stuff.
Well, I mean, occasionally it works down south, in the southeastern United States, where you can just walk up and piss on something. It's yours. You could try it up there. You could try it, and I don't know if it'll work.
It might work,
but
I could see it.
Could.
I could see it.
I think the only way to gain respect up in Maine is you got to walk up to a Mainer, pull a potato out of the ground in front of them, eat it whole, raw, dirt and all. And that's the only way you can gain respect of a real Mainer.
And then summon a lobster to your own hands with an Accio charm. That's it.
Exactly. I mean, if you can't do that, why would you even go to Maine?
Right. That's a good point.
For fuck's sake, teach the entire town the fucking Engorgio spell, man. You're in. You got yourself a cult.
Can I just point out one really minor thing that happened that just like absolutely blew my mind is, so he apparently was kidnapped by Pancho Villa, and while being kidnapped learned a local dialect of Incan. Is that what we were told directly, explicitly, what happened in Indiana Jones's life? Seems normal, right? Completely realistic.
Right.
It's back when he was River Phoenix.
Right, exactly. Yes. He just picked up on a local dialect of Incan while being kidnapped. Totally normal thing.
The thing about it is that these things that happen in his life, like these are things that happen over like 30-year periods. You know what I mean? Like these aren't things that happen over like, I lived with Pancho Villa for a couple months and now I know Incan, this weird like jungle version of Incan or whatever. It's
for the rest of his life, too.
Yeah, for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
He was like 18 or 20 or something when it happened. And he's like 50 or 60 now. And like, yeah, I still remember how to speak that.
I still don't know when to use a comma. And I've been speaking English for fucking 31 years.
That's the thing with the secondary languages. It's like riding a bicycle. The second you start talking, you just remember every single thing. Hola.
They truly disrespect how difficult it is to pick up another language, much less a dead language, which is strange because at some point Indy's like, oh, that's Mayan. Like someone's speaking Mayan. It's like, that no one speaks that, dude. You don't know how to speak that. What the fuck?
George Lucas knows that anywhere south of the United States, they're all just savage that speak in grunts. It's just the way it is.
I loved when he first got that letter and he's like, this is a dead language. Nobody's spoken it for 3,000 years, but I might be able to read it if I walk it through Mayan. 30 seconds later, he knows the entire letter front to back. It's like, wow, that was really fast. Good for you.
Nobody's spoken this in 3,000 years except me.
It's atrocious. Yeah, the whole series actually treats that. Like also Indy knows an extremely specific dialect of Hindi, I suppose, when they were in fake India in Temple of Doom.
Yep.
Probably knows Arabic.
He also knows the G-spot.
I think that's how he gets all these women to sleep with him. He's just like, well, this tablet over here says you got to fuck me. Hey, listen, I don't make the rules, but the tablet says it, okay?
Look at me. Sorry, I need to follow the directions.
You know you're in trouble though, like when you're in bed with Indy. If he just says, "Oh, Venice," it's like, "Oh shit, get the fuck out of the room."
Then they find the crystal skull inside this mummified conquistador, which I'm surprised they didn't find earlier, since it's constantly making this humming sound whenever they show up or whenever they see it.
Did anybody catch when the Brit says conquistador? I don't know if that's later.
I noticed that too. I'm like, come on, do another take.
I know we have some English listeners. Somebody please email the show and let us know if that's real. I mean, if it is, great, but I don't think that's real. I understand aluminium. I don't understand conquistador.
I love aluminium.
Aluminium's amazing. It just rolls off the
So
tongue.
good.
Garage. Yeah.
Yeah, a lift. I'm down with it.
Yeah.
What
Let's
the
see.
fuck are we talking about? Holy shit.
All right.
Sorry.
But it's a trap! And they get ambushed by Mac and the Soviets. And Blanchett makes Indy stare into the eyes of this crystal skull until he knows where to take them.
I wanted to stare at her haircut.
Crystal skull fucked.
I loved it.
God.
Yeah.
So good.
I liked it too, Bill. It was very orderly. It appealed to my slightly autistic sensibilities.
It frames her face so nicely.
It's a communist bowl cut. It was just really weird.
Apparently, Harrison Ford didn't know that Cate Blanchett was a blonde because I guess she was walking around on set without the wig on. He was like, "Who's that blondie over there?" Like, you've been doing this movie with her for 4 months.
Goes grabs her ass. What's up, Toots?
Yeah. Ooh, who's that?
Want to take a ride in my plane?
You know what?
We'll go up, but we
No
ain't gonna
pants
come
and no
down.
pants party.
Yeah. I also do not know how to land it in real life.
Got the keys to Lucas Ranch.
That's an excellent question because Harrison Ford actually does fly planes. Do you think he exclusively flies his planes with no pants like he did in when he was filming the last movie?
I would guess so.
I'd hope so.
I would hope so.
So that way, every time he crashes it, when he shits himself, he can put something clean on. He might as well.
Bill, I thought you said, does he exclusively crash land his planes?
And the answer is yes, of course.
It really is, apparently.
The golf courses and
Harrison
Oh my
Ford's
gosh,
literally like
Andy's explanation.
he's literally like an Alzheimer's driver, like a 95-year-old who's like, I don't know how I ended up here. I was only trying to go to the grocery store. I ended up in Toledo. He's like
also alleged.
Yeah,
go.
He's like, I don't know how I ended up here. I was only trying to fly my plane to Jeffrey Epstein's island, and now I'm in Montreal.
Honestly, he's just torched all the time. Apparently, he
Yes.
smokes like prodigious amounts of weed. Like she's on probably Snoop Dogg's fucking, quick call list and shit where they probably hang out. Like he smokes a lot of weed.
That's what I've heard. That he has like crippling social anxiety, so he's just always bummed whenever he talks to anybody in public.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Yeah. That's why he seems so grumpy in interviews. If you ever talk to him, he's always just like,
Yeah, right.
The only one he's actually good with is Conan. So I'm pretty sure he just blazes before he goes on.
Conan's like, it's fine, buddy. It's cool. Come on now.
Yeah. Okay. Then after this, you're reintroduced to Marion Ravenwood 27 years after Raiders of the Lost Ark. And oh my God, she's Mutt's mama.
Oh my God. And Mutt's his son. Dear God.
Yeah, I love that. Hey, guess what? Your son? It's a mutt. What? That's its name. What? Like, good God, the layers of just fucked on that one.
I knew there was a reason why he was so precocious.
The switch of his opinion on whether or not he needed to go to school was hilarious.
funny.
That was funny.
That was
good.
yeah. That was legitimately funny.
So these are the funniest scenes in the movies because first, like LaBeouf, he has absolutely no plan whatsoever. He just spazzes out and attacks these Soviets. He runs his parents straight into quicksand, who are just immediately recaptured. But then you just got four. Like I was just laughing out loud, just looking at first like Harrison Ford's like Rain Man rant about quicksand that he goes on.
Yeah.
And then just the face he makes when they throw that snake on him.
I love the
It is
snake.
laugh out loud.
The
funny.
snake rope is so funny.
Go get me something else.
Give me a rope.
His little-
This isn't Sears.
Say it's a rope. What? Say it's a rope!
That's also the only time I've ever heard Harrison Ford make the sound of like a scared little dog, you know?
I feel like in this situation,
Physical humor is great.
I feel like in this situation, Indiana Jones is correct. Like, I don't think that snake rope would have worked.
Also, you're in the fucking jungle. There's trees everywhere. You find a snake?
Yeah, like a vine or...
What the
How did
fuck?
that massive
It's right
snake
off a
just
branch.
let you capture it?
So,
I know.
so to Shia LaBeouf's credit, the leadership of this movie did not give him much to work with.
No, and he actually said that later on, which got him in
Yeah.
trouble. Yeah.
Well, and also, did everyone see the snake? I don't know what it is with big productions these days, even in Harry Potter, which was made, much more recently. And the snake, going out the window, it looks like someone just threw a garden hose out. Same thing with this snake. After Shia LaBeouf's done with it, he's like, get rid of it. He's like, blah! And it's just like a big tube just, blah, 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 just falls in the back. Like, good
It's like you're
God.
chucking wood.
Yeah.
So they're not held captive for long because Indy and Mutt feet attack the Soviet guard like the plane Hungry Hungry Hippos as they get into this over-the-top action sequence that lasts 13 minutes that involves Indy shooting a rocket launcher and Shia LaBeouf having a high-speed sword duel with Cate Blanchett. And then also Mac is not, he's not a spy. He's CIA. He's a good guy for now.
Oh, yeah. By the way, double agent, of course.
Yeah, double agent. This is where I turned the movie off yesterday. It was the second that
Yeah.
the Shia LaBeouf did that leg split on the car of the sword. I just shut my computer. I'm like, I'm done.
Yep.
I'll finish it tomorrow.
This whole
That
turn...
belongs exclusively to Van Damme.
Yeah, that whole turn with Mac really, really made me angry. I was like,
It's not good.
you couldn't think far enough ahead into the script that you're going to need another character to kind of help them navigate a certain part. So you just were like, well, let's just make Mac a triple agent and that'll be good. It's like,
That'll work.
it's so annoying, so lazy.
So when Blanchett is just punching LaBeouf, I was just picturing that scene from The Simpsons when when groundkeeper's Willie is just beating the shit out of Homer, and Homer's just yelling like, "Stop hitting me! Stop pummeling me! It's really painful." He's just getting his ass kicked.
She does beat the shit out of him. Yeah.
I know.
And Kate, for the record, between all the roles and probably legit combat training she has at this point in her life, I would not get into a knife fight with her. No.
No, she's like 6'5".
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. This whole action sequence just sucked.
It's not good.
The Tarzan, the greaser Tarzan jumping from all the vines, the
my
monkeys.
God.
just
Once again,
fuck.
Unquestionably, the
monkeys
worst,
lost jobs.
The worst scene in the movie is
Ugh.
he's I don't know, swinging in vines, catching up to cars. All right, here's the thing that really gets me is they make a point of they have this like Dr. Seuss-esque Lorax machine cutting down the rainforest as they drive through. And somehow behind that machine is smooth roads. There's apparently no stumps from any of the trees or shit that they're cutting down. It's just smooth land. And then the first thing that Indiana Jones does when he takes over the truck is he takes a rocket launcher and blows up the tree cutting machine. And then somehow they continue driving through the jungle with 15 cars for another 20 minutes. The fuck, where are these roads? They're in the fucking Amazon jungle. What do you mean they're still driving a 2-car lane highway side by side so that they can have a sword duel for a little while? What the fuck is going on?
The aliens built the Incan highways, Bill.
Somehow,
Yep.
Shia LaBeouf catches up to cars driving 20, 30 miles an hour by swinging from vines in a tree. Look, this, I didn't.
Okay.
Ugh.
Comrade, I think you are seriously just underestimating the power of communism. Communism alone, Stalin's spirit, along with Lenin and Marx would have been shit-faced there. They paved it. Their spirits paved it.
All right, fair
It
enough.
was already taken care
It
of.
was the
the
sweat
question.
and tears of the people.
Yeah.
Of the
Oh shit! I bet someone is listening in North Korea and they're going to write that down and use it.
Yeah. Soviet Amazon jungle cuts you.
Well, there is only one explanation. The aliens paved roads for the Incans.
Oh, that makes sense.
You know what I mean?
For their gold cars.
Yeah.
For their gold cars, Bill.
Yes. No, they're knowledge cars, Bill. Wrong translation.
Right. Oh
Duh.
God, I forgot.
Brains.
I was gonna, Bill. I was just gonna say aliens too. Though that's the answer. Aliens.
Yeah. Also, these aliens can shoot mind lasers out of their eyeballs.
Don't worry about that. We're not there yet.
I'm so.
You know
mad.
where we're at
So
right now,
angry.
John?
I know. Jesus, tell me, Max.
We're at the scene where they fall off several waterfalls and don't die.
Wait a minute.
Oh
Wait a minute.
and they keep getting back into the fucking car with all the broken fucking glass and the fucking machine gun that could have gone off every fucking time. You fell down 3 fucking waterfalls and just shrugged it off. Fuck you. No. Fuck you, Spielberg. Fuck
one
you.
of them, the last one's like the size of like Niagara Falls too. I mean, it's not like little rinky dink, 20-foot drops or something like that. Like that's like 100-foot drop. They're just like in perpetually circling in the downfall of water for the next 60 years as their bodies are slowly decay. Like that's the true end in that fate is they never resurface.
Bill, do you listen to heavy metal?
I don't know.
Okay, you should, because you have been exquisitely metal this entire episode, dude. It has been fantastic, dude. Everything you've been talking about has just been awesome.
Thank you, John. That was very kind of you.
You're very welcome. Okay, we can continue. Sorry.
Wait. But Max, I didn't realize we had gone past the ants. The ants?
Oh, no. Wait.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. The
Oh,
ants
shit,
before they went into the river.
Yep.
I mean,
Ants.
those are some fucking great deaths. Those were some,
That
if we're
was
going to talk
good.
about metal deaths. I mean, the giant Russian getting kind of knocked out almost completely, falling into the ants and then waking up and just getting engulfed in like 3-inch size ants. Oh my God.
So it was an amazing scene, and I think it was actually better than the scarabs from The Mummy, but it brings up an interesting idea. It's like, how incestuous was the relationship between The Mummy and the Indiana Jones franchise, considering it was like an exact copy, and then they went back
Full
to
circle. I'll just say,
Yeah.
it went full circle. The Indiana Jones movies just expired. It became shitty, like this one. And then it just turns into like a worse version of The Mummy, in which The Mummy's now a better movie. It's like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
But dude, the ants, and you get to see the ants like crawl inside of his mouth and everything as he's still screaming. And then there's one shot where they're like, everyone else is getting away, and you still see him like struggling against them in the backdrop. It's so brutal.
Well, they show his body getting dragged into one of the anthills, and his
Yeah, that
foot
kinda
is
creeped
still
me out.
kicking.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Ugh, that creeped
Those
me
are
out.
like nuclear
Oh.
ants. They literally
Yeah.
the minute it's like lava. Like the minute they touch him, he like goes to Tinder. I think they took the fire ant thing like kind of literal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That
they
was
should've
in one
used
of the
bullet
original
ants.
scripts from The Last Crusade, was just these like massive man-eating bugs. So Lucas had
King
been wanting
Kong
to do
stole
it.
There are a lot of dangerous bugs in the Amazon, but there aren't those.
Yeah, bugs that are the size of cell phones.
Right.
There
Ants,
are
I mean,
there
Yeah.
are bullet ants. Do you guys know
Sure.
about bullet ants?
I looked it up
Okay.
actually after that scene last night. Yes.
Oh, dude,
Hmm.
those things are fucking intense. Yeah. A venom that that feels like a fucking gunshot. No, thank you.
eek.
I'd be interested to taste it though.
Mm.
A gunshot, that'd be kind of fun. Who knows? We just got off of Harry Potter, for fuck's sake. You can have a fucking gummy jelly bean.
Kudos
for
to
any
the guy who like linked those two feelings together. Like I've been shot and I've been stung by a bullet ant. It's like you're living a kind of a shitty life.
You know what? They both
Yeah.
feel the same.
Interesting.
Were you bitten by the bug before you were shot? Yes. Does everything feel like a gunshot? Yes.
Maybe it was the bullet ants that shot him.
Apparently there is this scientist. What's the scientific term for someone who studies bugs? Entomologist,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
correct.
There is like a famous entomologist who had like came up with the scale for like insect bites or stings, like for as far as pain goes, right? And he just tested them all himself, which is like, that sounds like the worst job ever.
Yeah.
That sounds like if I could dream up a job that would be at the bottom of the list. That would be the worst job ever.
So
Yeah.
I don't get to comment on it too much because it's not quite my forte. I'm a metal guy, but that is punk rock as motherfucker. Just that's so intense. I'm just going to experiment on myself with pain. All right, Bug. Did he do it on like his arm? Like,
I know, that's the thing. Like, wouldn't you think he'd kind of build up a tolerance to that pain? Like, wouldn't it be harder and harder to really gauge?
that guy would be intense. Ooh.
I don't know, man.
All right, Bill, we got to go and do the test over.
I'm seeing a lot of flaws in this scientific study.
No, it's the Pepsi Coke challenge in which he just has these two bugs constantly biting him like over and over again. He's like, that one kind of hurt more that time. Well, how about this one? No, that one hurts more. Hold on, let me see the other one again. Yeah. Bug 2 hurts more.
Last thing I'm going to add on this is when what's the woman's name? I don't even remember. I feel like
Marion.
Sure. Cate Blanchett.
From the Camp Blake. Oh yeah. Cate Blanchett.
Yeah. When she's escaping the
character.
ants and she climbs up into the tree, and then like they kind of make a sky bridge to get up to her, and one of them gets up, and then she crushes it with her knee. It's kind of sexual. A little sexual.
Huh.
Oh boy.
Bill's like, that's when my head would explode right there.
So, Bill, would you qualify that as violently sexual?
Yes, I think I would.
I think that is the definition of violently sexual, when your entire body explodes in between a woman's legs.
Oh,
Well,
good. So
you know,
you did get what I was saying.
Violently sexual.
Okay, so one of so you got this 125-year-old and 4 senior citizens running through several pyramids. They finally get to the right one that has a secret room with the 13 crystal skeletons, but it's a trap. And Mac isn't a double agent, but just a regular old traitor.
You know,
He's a triple. Is he a quadruple or a triple agent now? I got confused.
Well, he was
after-
a triple agent until he then tells Indy, "No, I'm just a regular. It's a regular old red bastard."
Yeah, he just lied about being a triple agent, so he's really just a double agent. Indy's an idiot.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's just a shithead, is
Yeah.
what it comes down
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair enough. Jonesy.
Jonesy.
I was glad to see them get back to their roots in this the third part of this movie with a little bit of light genocide by killing all of the natives that live in that area when the Russians come in and just shoot them all down. That was a really welcome and definitely necessary scene for this movie.
It was definitely an interesting seasoning. I don't understand it. There was no reason for it. Absolutely no reason.
Other than the fact that then manifest destiny.
Oh God.
That's not a Russian thing.
It is now. In South America, it is.
Manifest destiny, comrades.
They call it the manifesto destiny, man. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's all good.
So Blanchett puts the last crystal skull on its body, and oh my God, guys, these bodies are ancient aliens.
Oh,
That
What?
gave birth to a real life alien that brain fucks Cate Blanchett with his brain dick.
This is when Trouble literally stood up and just threw his hands up in the air. It's
That's
this
when he
exact
started
moment.
screaming.
Yes.
No! I was really half expecting Shia LaBeouf to be in the background, being a greaser and being like, "Whoa, aliens!" Just like light one up. Fuck, man.
Where's my comb?
Because this was in what, 59, right?
57.
57.
Seven.
Yeah.
Seven.
Shia LaBeouf shooting up over in the corner. I got this stuff from a black jazz man. This is good. This is good smack.
It's that sweet
making me
black tar Mexican heroin.
It's making me see. It's making me see aliens.
Those are real aliens. Who said that?
So you telling me this stuff isn't good?
Wait, who? Since when are you my dad? Oh my God, this is some good shit. Right. And then the good guys run out of the CGI room while all the Soviet troops get sucked into this portal, and Blanchett gets her eyes burnt to ash by this mean mugging alien.
Yeah, that thing was very sinister, even though like everything. So obviously they are depicting them as having taught the Maya and the Inca everything that they know and how they can build shit, whatever. But that would have mean that they were a little bit nicer. This one looked just straight up angry. I mean, granted, one of its interdimensional 12 heads or 13 heads or whatever the fuck was missing, which makes no sense to me. But it was mean as fuck.
Yeah,
it wasn't a nice looking alien. Yeah, it wasn't nice looking.
Typical
All right.
gray.
I need a little clarification here because the understanding was that Oxley had been there before, right? That's how he was able to lead them back because he had been there before.
He only got so far, and then he went back home.
He made it to the sand puzzle. Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't get through the sand.
He couldn't raise the obelisk or whatever it was, the cornerstone or whatever it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Oh, right. Because he said you thought of the sand in jail. All right. I'm back on board.
Yeah. This is also around the time that he just snaps out of his fucking like Rafiki phase that he's in. Becomes a regular human again.
Yeah.
He was
fucking
him and Shiloh were sharing that smack.
I do love that the first scene that we did get to meet Ox, that he's just walking around with one of those weird like Burning Man like just
rain poles or whatever.
Yeah, just like swinging,
singing in Russian.
Yeah, just woo, woo. Like, man, this guy is rolling balls right now. Like, oh wow. He's
in the front row.
He walked on.
He went to South America and got some of that good marching powder.
Yeah, I got some of that indigenous Indian Kush. All right. And then also Mac gets vaporized because he's greedy. And this is like, I wrote this down in my notes too. Is, oh shit, this is the mummy. Mac is Benny. I was just waiting for the scarabs to show up.
Yeah.
Except just way better. I mean, excuse me, Benny is way better. I still have a soft spot in my heart. Like,
both have mustaches.
Yeah.
He also wore a fez, and everyone knows a fez is cool.
There you go, Bill.
They're called pheasants.
No, they're not. You're wrong.
Yes, they are. No, they're called pheasants.
No, shut up, John. Just shut up.
No. Trust me.
No, absolutely not. Ugh, gross. I would never trust you.
Violently sexual.
Many mistakes have been made after hearing John say, "Trust me." No, there's not. I didn't put anything in your drink. Trust me.
No, it's gonna be a much cheaper night. Just drink it.
Oh my god!
Jump out this window. I have a flying carpet going below. Don't you trust me? Oh, right. That carpet's just on the ground. You're gonna die.
Oh
boy. Toby McGuire would be better than Shia LaBeouf. Trust
me.
All right, good guys escape it.
That's going to be in a tabloid. I said that's going to get out. That's going to be in a fucking tabloid. God damn it.
All right, good guys escape, and oh my god, the pyramid had a spaceship under it the whole time. And the city didn't mean the city of gold, but the city of knowledge.
City of knowledge. And water for some reason.
Lots of water that just came from from the mountains. There was a lake hidden, it was like an ocean hidden in the mountains, apparently. Aren't they in the Andes, basically?
Yeah.
They're in the Amazon.
They were at Machu Picchu, right?
Well, not
they because they traveled. They traveled by river for quite a while. So
yeah, they're on the Amazon River.
Listen, guys, what goddamn Indian place were they in?
Jesus Christ.
I was in India, New Mexico. I don't get it.
And where were their feathers?
Oh God.
Where's all the corn?
Oh boy,
Indy, you're the expert. Where's the corn?
Also, why did the alien need two portals? Why did it have like the little baby portal that it just sucked a bunch of people up into for no fucking reason, but then still have to pilot his spaceship, a couple 100 feet up and then zap it to another dimension? Like, why did he have the two portals? Was that just there? Was that once again George Lucas being like, CGI is the fucking best, dude? Like,
yes.
That's all it was?
I think that's all that it was, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. All right. To wrap up the movie, Indy and Marion get married, and Mutt's about to put on Indy's hat, but Papa Jones grabs it as the camera pans out with a bunch of old people slowly walking out of this church while Mutt combs his hair. That's the end of the movie.
So after the spaceship flies away, like Indy like relaxes on like a pile of rocks and has like this big grin on his face and goes like, "Oh, Dad is up there smiling somewhere." And it's like, no, he's definitely not. Like, this is like he had a grandson his entire life that he never knew about because you're a piece of shit who walked out on his soon to be bride.
Love of your life.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean? There's nothing funny about this at all. You're a huge piece of shit.
Yep. Dad's looking down, smiling.
You're actually really onto something because he's an old school, like Catholic Scottishman, like a Scotsman, he'd be like, I'll bring the fucking, the fucking thunders of God on your point. Like, Jesus, he would have lit his ass up, dude.
Oh yeah, with how religious he was, having a child out of wedlock and like not being around to raise it or anything. Yeah, I don't think Sean Connery is or his dad is too laughy about that.
No, not in the fucking least.
Yep.
Good to see we agree on that, Bill.
We agreed on an uncomfortable amount of things in this episode. Actually,
well, it was a little bit strange, and at one point Tim even jumped on board, and I was kind of like, "Wow, there's never been this many people on Team Bill before." It's like, Bill, like, rise up, kill Max, take it over.
That's how it works.
Dethrone me. I challenge you.
The show is like the Elder Wand. If you defeat the prior host, it becomes yours.
Bill's actually right behind you right now, Max.
Ah!
You're such a fucking squib. Oh my God. You squibby fuck.
All I can imagine from this movie when George Lucas was writing it is he's just like sitting in a room muttering. He was like, "Goddamn, Steven never let Indy fuck a 12-year-old. I'm going to write this movie about aliens. Everyone's going to hate it. Fucking asshole. I want to have Indy fuck a 12-year-old. He never lets me do it. Fourth movie doesn't let me do it. Aliens, you get."
Bill, I think that we all need to go and stop Spielberg before the next one comes out.
Well, I guess Spielberg isn't directing it.
I don't know.
Who is?
Oh yeah, who's directing it?
The guy who directed Logan, the movie Logan.
That was good.
James Mangold, I believe that's his name.
Huh.
Here's the thing.
Great.
Here's the thing: is that we kind of have a pattern right now of good, bad, good, bad.
Odd numbers. Yeah.
So
all the odd numbered movies are good.
5 is going to be good.
Although honestly, all the movies that have Nazis are good too.
And all the ones that focus on like Judeo Christianity are also the good ones.
Did you say Judo Christianity?
It did. I don't know why I said that.
Judo Christianity. It's a
Cheeto.
It's a new Christianity.
Can you imagine that?
All you do is some hip tosses. It's on Joe Rogan's podcast.
It's the style of fighting that Jesus did.
Could you imagine all the evangelists walking around just Judo Christ, just like just
throwing crosses at people?
Close enough. You know what I meant. Good enough.
All right. So the guy who's going to be directing the Indiana Jones movie. So the most recent ones he did Ford vs. Ferrari, Logan, The Wolverine, 310 to Yuma, which was also a pretty good movie. Walk the Line, and Copland, which is also a great movie. He's pretty good.
Yeah, I liked all of those. Yeah. Okay.
And they're having the son of what's his name? The guy, whoever the fuck, the dude who wrote the first Indiana Jones movie, who also wrote Empire Strikes Back. His son is writing the new one.
Oh, okay.
I learned this all from somebody on Twitter who responded to one of our things.
And is it going to be Harrison Ford too?
Yep.
Okay. Is Shia LaBeouf going to be in it?
No,
Nope.
That's going to be in the trivia. There's a reason why he will not be in it.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Because Toby McGuire's in it?
Yep. Bingo.
There's still some juice left in that fruit. I'm going to squeeze it out.
So So do you think that this director, so I think his success really hinges on like the quality of the, basically the pass blockers that he hires to keep George Lucas the fuck off of set.
I don't know if he has any say in this anymore because he sold Lucas Arts.
Oh, he
so
did.
Yeah, I don't know I don't think he's going to really be able to do much about it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it'll result in another video of Indiana Jones getting whipped by a bunch of random people and like everybody from Hollywood happening to be there.
Yeah, that sounded. I remember listening to that in the podcast. I meant to Google that. That sounded hot.
That's what the youth say. That sounded hot.
That's so hot.
Oh, it's like it's fat, like pH fat. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Barbara Streisand, so hot right now.
Duck sauce.
All right, should we listen to Preble's little audio here?
Sure.
Yeah, he's basically my favorite character.
Preble?
Yeah.
All right, should I just play this against the microphone, I guess? I don't know what to fucking do.
We could all listen to
play.
it already.
Just pipe it through your sound system, Max. Don't you have a sound system?
Okay. All right, let me go through the whole machine box here.
That's a good sound machine. I like it.
All right. That was my floppy disk.
Machine box.
Hold on,
He
let me
doesn't
take
like it when you call it that.
Hey everyone, I am sorry I'm not able to participate with everyone else regarding the Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull episode, but Max has provided me the opportunity to just express myself on this, what I can charitably call a film. I could have gone one of two ways with this. I could have either, taken a lot of time, given you a blow-by-blow description of this film and why I think it's an absolute travesty to the Indiana Jones franchise, or I can just briefly recount my actual experience watching this for the first time with Max and others, which ultimately had me just kind of frowning and sitting back in my chair watching this movie unfold before me, and kind of being thrown off, I should say, maybe in the first 20 minutes or so when Indiana Jones survives, a nuclear blast by what? A lead-lined refrigerator. Indiana Jones has escaped a lot of probably very unlikely scenarios, but that one is definitely the dumbest. But ultimately, as I watched this with Max and everyone else, I think my true feelings for this film were summed up right at the end of the film. And hopefully this is not a spoiler for whenever Max decides to insert this into the podcast. But when we find out that it really is aliens, I remember very distinctly to this day, I stood up in the theater and just shouted, "No!" Because that doesn't make any sense at all with Indiana Jones. Are there, fantastical elements in Indiana Jones? Of course. But all of them were always related to some kind of spiritual thing. Not, by the by, these people are fucking aliens and their treasure is knowledge. Oh, that's so sweet. But thanks for letting me talk about this movie. It's probably best that I'm not talking about it because I probably would have extended this episode tenfold because how terrible this movie is. But I hope you all enjoy listening to everyone else talk shit about this film. And I'm glad you got to listen to me give you this little several minute shit talk. But have fun all. Bye.
Okay, let's just act like we just listened to Preble's thing.
Dude.
Very, very insightful.
Wonderful.
Oh boy, Mike.
All right, let me take it out of this floppy disk. All
That's
right.
a really wet floppy disk.
Yeah.
It's coming from Preble, so
You have to Yeah, hard to keep things dry in a cardboard box when it's raining.
Max just jams it in there like a pile of pudding.
What?
which is also in my floppy disk.
Don't think too hard about it.
Pudding into it.
That's how aneurysms happen. I was actually, I was hoping that I would get like a legitimate like scream out of Preble, like at the beginning. Just, I mean, I'm not going to scream right now. My neighbors have put up with enough tonight, I'm sure, but just like, I mean, blood curdling.
Like that?
Yeah, just like that.
All right, cool. Okay, should we get into trivia?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Harrison Ford was hell-bent on using the whip, even though producers suggested that they could do a CGI whip for safety reasons.
Oh my God.
That would have looked horrible.
It would have been terrible.
None of the CGI holds up at all.
That'd have been like Max's floppy disk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just all limp, flopping around, spreading water droplets.
Wet.
Yeah, moist. The most uncomfortable word in the English language, moist. Just walk up to somebody and say the word moist and watch them squirm.
So in the scene early on when his car goes through that wall, the special effects team had a timed explosion that didn't go as planned, and then one of the faulty explosives landed in the car next to Harrison Ford.
Oh, wow.
So he could have just fucking blown up and died.
That scene, I actually had it in my notes. I didn't feel like going back to it, but like it's absolutely insane. The car goes through the boxes at like 10 miles an hour, and it's like 10 pounds of dynamite just exploded from those boxes. It's the most ridiculous, over the top explosion that you can get from a movie that is not by Michael Bay.
Well, they're hiding all these treasures in there. Like, what would have been funny is like they're hitting all those boxes and just all this like crazy shit's happening. Just like rainbows and fireworks are coming out of it, and like elves are flying. And, like little like moles and trolls are like running out, and just fucking madness. Stormtrooper runs out. But yeah. Ray Winstone, aka Mac, tore his hamstring during filming.
Tore his hamstring. How?
Because he is a fat old man.
Judging by his physique, probably just getting out of a chair.
I think it was that scene when he was just leaning against that pillar out of breath after he fell. I think that's when he tore it.
Isn't he the guy from The Departed?
Yeah, he's Mr. French.
Mr. French.
I fucking know you.
1 in a million.
During the wedding, originally, Indy's dad, Short Round, Sala, and Willie Scott, a.k.a. Screaming Yabos, were supposed to be there.
Sala's dead.
Oh, he's still alive. He's still kicking it.
No, I'm just telling you, like...
Just in general, yeah.
Yeah, he would have been dead.
Yeah.
So, like, could they not get any of those people? That's why they weren't there?
So, I mean... Sean Connery was already in retirement, and then Sala said, he's like, I think it would just kind of like, it'd be cheap to the fans to have me just be like there in the background, smiling, waving, which makes sense because he's a great character. They should have brought him back. Okay, last one here. Not all is lost because Shia LaBeouf burned too many bridges while making this movie. He was during like several times during the press junkets, he just said how the movie sucked. Like, he was just criticizing the movie, leading to Harrison Ford calling him a, quote, fucking idiot. And then the studio fired him from the rest of the series.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he saw a turd when it was a turd. I mean, that studio didn't, so.
I mean, he wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I just really can't explain the whole climbing from the vines with monkeys thing. Like, that just doesn't really make sense. And then, Spielberg and Lucas and all of them, they're like, you're selling this movie. You're not supposed to shit on it.
I mean, it did make a shit ton of money, so.
It did. Yep. Okay, well, that's it. Time for questions. Who's your favorite and least favorite in this?
Well, I can go a little further. This is a hard one for me because, I mean, there wasn't like even a hint of yabos in this movie. Like, not even a sniffle. And really makes it difficult for me to choose my favorite. But I guess if I had to choose, it would be Cate Blanchett's haircut, without question, because that thing was primo. And my least favorite is Shia LaBeouf. For obvious reasons, I didn't have to explain.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. My favorite is just Cate Blanchett. I mean, you can say whatever you want about that accent, but as soon as she crushed that ant with her knees, I was swooning. So.
Rock hard.
My least favorite is the priest that married Marion and Harrison
That
Ford.
guy was weird.
Oh my God, he reeked of pedophile vibes. He had the worst, creepiest mustache, like the smile, the one, like 2 words that he said just like, made my skin crawl. Easily the worst.
Like, he has to be a son of somebody.
Yeah.
You don't get into a movie like that. It'll look that fucking weird and creepy without some kind of, connections.
To be honest, guys, in all reality, while Preble was he is my favorite character because I'm not recognizing this movie truly. My favorite are the fucking monkeys because they're the only fucking thing that was doing what they were supposed to do. Period. Like, number one, Andy shouldn't be chasing aliens. Shia LaBeouf shouldn't be combing his fucking hair before he's going to get shot by a bunch of Russians. And Spielberg should once again stop letting fucking Lucas insert his non-existent chin into these fucking films. We do not need CGI gophers. They took their fucking jibs. And to be honest, my least favorite, and this is actually going to be Indy. I really think that Harrison Ford phoned this one the fuck in. And just for some reason, didn't tell Spielberg to fuck himself with the sheer level of camp that he had to insert into this. And I get that Indiana Jones is it's from the Star Wars era, everything had a degree of camp, but just the dumb, cheeky shit that he says, that's just not gruff enough. Like when he first meets the Russian lady, Cate Blanchett, he's like, "Oh yes, I know that you're from Ukraine because of the way you say your W's." I'm like, "Oh, fuck off." No.
Yeah.
I think that this was honestly Harrison Ford's weakest performance in the Indiana Jones franchise.
Oh, by far.
Even though I agree that it's a better movie than The Temple of Doom, but he's my least favorite.
So, and that's the thing, so Ford actually made them put in a couple of different lines just talking about his age because he was very aware that he was fucking old. And he refused to dye his hair for the movie. He's like, "No, I'm going to be my age. It's going to be 20 years later and I'm fucking old. And you guys need to put some lines in about me being old." But, I know Lucas was gung ho about it just being a 50s B movie. He kept on saying that apparently. I read a couple different articles in which he's just "It's a 50s B movie. It's a 50s B movie." You know what? 50s B movies fucking suck.
Yep.
That's why they call them B movies, because they're not fucking A material. They fucking blow.
You don't strive to make a B movie, you idiot.
No. Yeah, you don't spend $250 million on a B movie. Ugh.
Fucking Lucas.
Yeah. But my favorite, I'm gonna say it's the movie Air Force One. It's a much better movie with Harrison Ford fighting Russians.
It's true.
Yeah. Infinitely.
And then my least favorite is going to be Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, just for ruining the perfect ending to the franchise by making this piece of shit.
Yep. They're the villains. We all know it.
Yep. Woo!
Squeal for me, Stormtrooper. Squeal.
Squeal. It's going to do it right here.
Oh, no. Yeah. Oof. It's disturbing to think about.
Oh, God. Yep.
What they did to this film.
Yep. Just how IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes have their own rating systems, we decided to make our own. So what would you rate this one? I can go first. I'm going to give this 1 Toby McGuire out of 1 Toby McGuire.
Hey, man. You know what? It's better than 1 Shia LaBeouf out of 1 Shia LaBeouf. So,
Touche.
I'm going to give this one literally 1 crystal skull fuck out of 10 gophers who lost their acting jobs to George Lucas's fucking bullshit CGI obsession. That's it. That's mine.
I'm going to give this the one time Shia LaBeouf was correct about a movie.
I'll give this the 20 could have been metal deaths out of judo Christianity.
Judo Christ. Judo Christ. Judo Christ.
That is a very confusing fighting style, I have to be honest. You know, it's really weird.
It's all about turning the other cheek as hard and fast as you can right into another person.
Oh my God. Dude.
Elbows
I would
locked,
love-
hands together. That's the passive style of the self-defense.
The
my gosh.
The weapon,
I know,
of,
you just-
the weapon of choice is like a 10-foot cross. You have to carry it around, so it's a lot of work, but it does some work.
Well, that's very anime, actually, when
Yeah,
you think about it.
exactly.
They always get, in the games, too, they always got, like, the oversized weapon. Oh, I'd love to see Jesus reimagined in anime. That'd be kind of fun.
Instead of black belts, brown belts, you have different variations of thorn crowns.
That dude.
Oh,
you
that's
are
his weapon
fucking
right there,
on
Bill.
fire tonight, dude. You are so brutal tonight.
Instead of like throwing stars, he just throws his fucking crown at people.
Oh my god. Yeah, and every time you throw it, you have to rip off a little bit of yours. Yeah, it's brutal. That's like another
repent.
version of Wolverine.
Repent.
Every time your claws come out, it hurts.
All right. Anything else you guys want to cover before we wrap up here?
No.
Negative. I'm really happy that we to steal this from a radio show, but we got the cock off our chest with this one, and I can breathe a lot easier. So, Jason Ellis show on XM,
yeah.
it's great, awesome. But yeah, seriously, get the cock off your chest. He has a whole segment on it. It's amazing.
All right. Well, that concludes our Indiana Jones movie marathon. If you like our show, you can rate and review. Tell your friends about us, all that fun stuff. We don't know what we're going to watch next week, so just stay tuned and you'll know when we do.
Yeah, everybody definitely keep fact-checking me because I was mortified about everything that I fucked up recently. So,
All right, fun times. Bye.
deuces, fuckers.
Squib out.
Blip, blip.